A young Indian woman had permanently injured her spinal cord in a road accident. She was only 28, she'd just qualified as a doctor, but now paralyzed from the waist down, a paraplegic. She would never stand, never walk again. Her faith helped her get through the first difficult days. Finally, she was able to sit in a wheelchair without help. But young Mary Verghese still faced an uncertain future. Dr. Paul Brand, her teacher, gave her this idea that she could operate hands of leprosy patients. She didn't need to stand for these hand surgeries, she could do them sitting down in a wheelchair. So Mary retrained herself, and 1 year later, she was probably the only paraplegic surgeon in the world actually doing surgeries without being able to stand or walk. But what Mary is best remembered for today is for her work in rehabilitating disabled people like herself. In 1957, 3 years after her accident, she went for physical rehab to Australia. The Royal Perth Hospital was helping the disabled become more independent. She said, "Why don't we have a department like this back home at CMC Vellore? I'm sure my disabled friends will be more independent, they will benefit from these exercises and these skills." But it wasn't easy to start a new department in a field which was still young in India. Physical medicine and rehab is a separate branch of medical science. You need specialized skills. So Mary enrolled for this 2-year course in New York under Dr. Howard Rusk. He was the founder of rehabilitation medicine. It was a tough course. She was in a wheelchair, she traveled to New York, she had to attend lectures, work in the hospitals. But she passed her exams, she came back to India. And in January 1963, 9 years after that terrible accident, Mary sat in a wheelchair and watched as India's President Dr. Radhakrishnan opened this new department of physical medicine and rehab at CMC Vellore. And 3 years later, the Rehabilitation Institute was opened. It was the first institute to accept inpatients. People could come and stay for several weeks and months till they actually got better. But Mary soon realized she had to adapt to Indian conditions. So she started working on some simple innovations like low wooden trolleys where patients could sit, they could learn tailoring from sewing machines, or devices with these long handles so people could pick up something which has fallen on the ground, or pick up a book or a cup from a shelf, switch off a light, close a window, anything to make them more independent. She redesigned low-cost wheelchairs so people could afford them. She also organized these sports meets every year where bus loads of disabled people from different cities would come and compete in these wheelchair races, crutch races, just increase their confidence levels. And in 1972, 18 years after her accident, the Indian government gave this wheelchair surgeon a Padma Shri because of her pioneering work in spinal cord rehabilitation. Mary was determined to offer a better life to her disabled brothers and sisters. And as Indian followers of Christ, what is our lesson from Mary's story? Fatalism can keep us where we are, but free will can compel us to make choices and move on despite difficult conditions. Mary took the initiative in healthcare. We don't need to be doctors like her. There are other places we can make a difference. And let me conclude with Mary's words. My disability is not a punishment from God. Instead, it's my greatest asset as a doctor. I asked for feet, I received wings. I asked for feet, she said, but I received wings.